After using the Magic Mouse for a while, I now know whether you should buy this and leave your bank account in tears, or if you should buy this for a whole lot cheaper and, yes, arguably better. I'm Tim Griffin 573, and this is my Magic Mouse mini review.
First of all, allow me to say two things. One, sorry for the change of clothes. I've been out and about and I just haven't really been able to record. Second of all, this isn't a bad mouse, and I want to make that clear. In many ways, this is a really good mouse. But like any mouse, it has its limitations, which, considering I got the cheaper one, which to be fair isn't cheap at all, there are quite a few limitations. First of all, one of the limitations is ergonomics. Now, this is a very premium feeling mouse. There's glass on the top and there's metal on the bottom. It's so nice. But when you actually use it, if you prefer nicer feeling mouses, you're going to enjoy this. If you prefer a more ergonomic mouses, you're not going to like this, because as I use it, my hand is flat against the desk, meaning that this part of my hand is always scraping along my desk. Now, for me personally, I don't mind my hand being flat. Like, I can use this for hours on end, it's fine. But if you're going to be sitting at a desk, if you're going to be using this a whole lot more than I would, you're going to notice that it does generally start to hurt your hand. And that is ultimately the main one. Like, I personally don't mind my hand scraping against my desk. It's not that much of a big deal for me. Another big one is the charging port, but like, I personally don't mind that either. So it's on the bottom here, but most people assume that's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal, personally. Like, I look at my battery, I genuinely keep an eye on my battery. So if this charging port at the bottom is such a big deal, one, look at your battery percentage a whole lot more on Max. There's a whole battery widget that you can put either in the notification center or on your home screen. Or go on Amazon or Vinted or whatever and buy a mouse to which you can put AA batteries in there. But I personally think USB-C on the mouse is just a whole lot better. If we're going to speak about charging ports, then we're going to need to know how much you're going to actually charge it. That is not a lot. The battery life on this mouse is absolutely incredible. Like, I charged it up to 100%. I was losing a percentage a day, and I still am losing a percentage a day. This is like gonna last me 3 months. This has lasted me 3 months. I'm on 13%. I don't need to charge it for like another 13 days. That's how good and confident I am about the battery life. That's how good the battery life is. We also need to do a comparison, because if I'm just glazing this mouse, then it isn't exactly going to be a fair review. Like, if you do a phone review, you're going to need to compare the cameras against another phone. Otherwise, you can just say, yeah, the cameras are bad, and you won't actually know that it's bad. So I'm going to be comparing it against this £20 mouse that I bought off Amazon, which has, I can't lie, lasted me a whole lot longer on battery life against that mouse. I don't know how much battery it has left, but it goes off 2 AA batteries, so for those that do actually want AA batteries, I'd recommend just getting a different mouse entirely, but still, we need to do a comparison. And that means talking about what they have in common. Now, they both are able to do side scrolling, but they don't exactly have the same number of buttons. This is one button. That means that if I hold down the left click, I can't do a right click. If I do a left click, I'm still able to do a right click, but this has 2 separate buttons, one for going back and one for going forward, which, depending on what you do, could actually be more useful. Another comparison we can do is the feel. This is plastic. Like I said, this is glass and metal, but generally feeling it, my hand still scrapes against the bottom of my desk. Now looking back, I don't know whether all mouses do that, but something to keep a note on. And it's because it is an ergonomic mouse, it does generally feel nicer to use. I feel like if people bought this mouse instead of this mouse, they would be just as satisfied. But yeah, guys, it happened. It happened. Nothing's moving. I can, as you can see if that, hang on, see if that works. I've just turned it off and on. Okay. No, it's actually dead. Actually dead. Finally. I've killed it. Well, time to charge it back up to 100% and have another 100 days on it. Okay, we're gonna time it, hopefully. Oh. So it's charging. Now we wait, and once again, I'm going to point out the fact that the charging port being on the bottom literally makes no difference to my day-to-day life. Like, I'm able to put this here, and I physically couldn't care less. But yeah. Stopwatch is going. It was dead. So, now we wait. Also, I may have exaggerated the battery life. I was losing a percentage a day, I swear. But that was the 3rd, or the 2nd of May. No, the 3rd actually, sorry. The 3rd of May, and it's now the 14th, 10 days ago. Now, that's still pretty good going considering it was on 13%, and it's only just died, and it is 5 minutes in and it's already on 3%. A day or two, which I know may not, 4%, but I know that may not seem like much, but considering I've literally only just plugged it in 5 minutes ago and I managed to get 10 days out of 13%, it's pretty good going if you ask me. But yeah, if you do want great battery life on a mouse, this is definitely one to go for. We are now ultimately 20 minutes in, and it is 16% done. I'll have to ask Gemini a question quickly. Okay, after Gemini doing some extensive maths because I can't be bothered, proof that I'm getting dumber, it's approximately going up by 0.76%. So it could take an hour to get 50% and 131 minutes to get to 100. Which, don't get me wrong, like there's a note there and I'm not using my fastest charger. I don't know how many watts this mouse can take maximum, but ultimately it isn't really that fast. It's charging at 8 watts. So if you do want a fast charging laptop mouse, then maybe don't get this, but I suppose the battery life makes up for it. And so, as ever, people, please stay safe, stay curious, and stay connected. This is Team Griffin 573 signing off.